This is Gwanghwamun Plaza, a very popular tourist destination for locals and international visitors alike. And behind me is Gyeongbokgung, probably the grandest of the 5 palaces in Seoul. But what many visitors don't realize that adjacent to this historic location is the National Palace Museum, and that's where we're headed to today. The National Palace Museum is tasked with the mission to preserve the history of Korea's ruling monarchs, beginning with King Taejo as he founded the Joseon Dynasty and culminating with Emperor Seongjong in 1910 at the collapse of the Daehan Empire. This newly remodeled 3-story building begins with exhibits related to the genealogy of the Joseon. On display are the royal seals, stamps in the forms of turtles and dragons, including this jade seal which shows the royal red ink still creeping into the stone's crevices. The spacious layout affords visitors the ability to easily navigate and examine historical documents, such as the ancestral logs that record every birth during the 500-year ruling period of the Joseon Dynasty. One of the more interesting items on display is this jade investiture containing the eulogy for King Taejo. An assortment of historical textbooks and learning materials are on display for visitors, including this colorful collection of poetry written by King Jeongjo and the royal librarians dating back to 1792. Starting with an intricate historical map, patrons can get the big picture about these historic residences and where they're located. One of the more innovative interactive displays allows users to point a camera at a large map. The attached tablet then reads the information and provides a detailed explanation on the subject. Preserved for future generations are also several series of vintage postcards. This 5-pearl encrusted gold and jade hairpin. You can also see this rare single-wheeled chariot for royalty. Those with a love for science will be pleased when visiting the museum. National Treasure 228 is the stone constellation chart dating back to 1395. This chart is the second oldest in the world and contains accurate locations for nearly 1,500 stars. What's really interesting is when one takes a look at the printed version of the chart, careful consideration was given not only to the location of the stars, but the celestial equator and lunar trajectory. A full-size recreation of a self-striking water clock developed during King Sejong's rule is in the museum's bottom level and allows visitors to watch videos detailing its operations. One of the more famous inventions of the Joseon were the hemispherical sundials, which accurately told time throughout the day. The National Palace Museum is home to more than 14 national treasures. It's open every day except for Monday, and admission is absolutely free. Now, if you're wondering how these relics of the past are preserved for future generations, join me next week as I talk to the conservation science team at the National Museum of Korea. Until then, be awesome. If you would like to learn more about today's video, surf on over to chiranger.com by clicking on the link in the description box. You can also keep up with my Korean adventures and my travels worldwide by following me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just look for Chi Ranger.